Hello, and welcome to English Podcast for Life, the show that helps you master real English for real situations. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maria. We are so glad you're with us today. Alex, I was just thinking, what's a skill everyone needs, but so many people find terrifying?
I know exactly what you're talking about, Maria. The phone call. It's one of the most common ways we communicate, but it can feel like a high wire act, right?
Absolutely. The moment you hear that ring, your heart starts to pound. You don't have body language to help you. It's just you and a voice. It's a real challenge for English learners.
Well, we are going to make that challenge a lot easier. We're going to give you all the tools you need to sound confident, clear, and totally natural on the phone.
No long, boring lectures here. Just a dynamic, helpful chat between us. We'll give you phrases, scenarios, and a ton of useful tips.
So let's dive in. The very first thing is the greeting. The phone rings, you pick it up. What's your first word?
For most people, it's just hello. It's simple, it's safe, and it works in almost every situation.
And for an informal call, like from a friend, you can be even more relaxed.
Exactly. You can say, hey, or what's up, or even just your name. Maria speaking.
Now, what about on the professional side? Let's say you're answering a work phone.
Then you want to be a bit more formal. You could say, good morning, this is Maria speaking. Or if you're answering a company line, hello, how can I help you?
That's a key difference. The tone is all about the context. Okay, so that's for answering. What if you're the one making the call?
You need to introduce yourself right away. Hi, this is Maria, and I'm calling about... It's polite, and it saves everyone time.
So you don't say, guess who it is?
Not unless you're calling your sister. In any professional or semi-professional call, you want to be clear about who you are and why you're calling.
That's a good rule to remember. What about when a strange number calls you? It happens all the time.
It does, and you don't want to just say, who is this? It can sound a bit confrontational.
So what's a better way to ask?
A more polite way is, may I ask who's calling, please? Or, I'm sorry, I don't have your number. Who am I speaking with?
I like that. The please and may I make all the difference. It's a respectful way to get the information you need.
And it shows you have good manners, even in a language you're still learning.
Perfect. And what if you're calling someone and the wrong person answers? You need to ask to be connected.
You can say, hello, is Tom available? Or, could I please speak with Tom?
And if that person isn't there, they'll likely ask you to leave a message. This is another crucial skill.
It is. A good voicemail is short and to the point. You want to state your name, your number, and a brief reason for the call.
For example, hi, this is Alex. Please tell Maria that I called. My number is 555-1234. I'm calling about the new project.
That's perfect. And it's always a great idea to repeat your number slowly, just to make sure they get it right.
So to recap this first part, think about the context of your call. Be clear and polite with your greetings and introductions, and be ready to leave a clear message if you need to.
Exactly. And with that, we'll take a quick break. But stay with us. When we come back, we're talking all about small talk and how to transition from one topic to another on the phone.
Okay, let's go.
Welcome back to English Podcast for Life. We're here for our 2-hour special on mastering phone conversations. In our last segment, we covered all the basics of greetings and introductions. Now, let's move on to the middle part of the call.
The real meat of the conversation. We're talking about small talk and making sure you don't get lost in a sea of words.
Small talk on the phone is a bit different from in person, right? You don't have visual cues.
Exactly. So you have to rely more on verbal prompts. Easy topics are always a great start. The weather, for instance. How's the weather over there? Or, I hope you're having a sunny day.
Or you can talk about the time of year. Are you looking forward to the holidays? Or have you got any plans for the weekend?
These are simple, low-pressure questions that make the conversation feel more natural. It breaks the ice.
It shows you're not just a robot trying to get information. Now, what about when you've done the small talk and you need to get to the main point of the call? You can't just stop talking about the weather and start talking about a business deal.
You need a good transition phrase. A few simple ones are great. Speaking of which, or that reminds me.
I use "that reminds me" all the time. It's so smooth. It connects the two topics, even if they aren't directly related.
Or if you need to be more formal, you can say on a different note, or moving on to the reason for my call.
Those are very clear and professional. It lets the other person know you're switching gears.
Now let's talk about a big fear for a lot of learners, not understanding what the other person said.
Oh, that's a huge one. What should you do?
Don't panic. It's completely fine to ask for help. You can say, "Could you say that again, please?" Or, "I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that."
Or what if they're just talking too fast? That happens a lot.
A simple, polite request works best. "Could you speak a little more slowly, please?" Most people will be happy to slow down for you.
It's so much better to ask than to pretend you understood and then make a mistake later.
Absolutely. And what if the problem isn't the speaker, but the connection?
The dreaded bad connection. You can say, "I'm sorry, you're breaking up a bit."
Or the line is cutting in and out. This gives them a clear picture of the problem so they can try to fix it.
It tells them to speak louder or move to a better spot. This keeps the conversation from becoming a mess of misunderstandings.
So, to summarize this segment, don't be afraid to use small talk to build rapport. Use transition phrases to move the conversation along smoothly. And most importantly, always ask for clarification if you need it.
Perfect. And with that, we'll take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into more specific scenarios, scheduling appointments, solving problems, and dealing with being put on hold.
Welcome back to English Podcast for Life. We're here for our special on mastering phone conversations. In our last segment, we talked about small talk and how to handle confusion. Now, let's get into some real-world, practical scenarios.
First up, a very common one, scheduling. This happens all the time in business, and you need to be very clear.
Absolutely. Ambiguity is the enemy here. Instead of saying next week, you should say something like, "How about Tuesday at 2 p.m.? Or, "Can we meet on August 15th?
Specifics are key, and once you've agreed on a time, you should always confirm.
Yes, a great way to do that is to say, "Just to confirm, we're meeting on Tuesday at 2 p.m.? It prevents so many misunderstandings.
It's a great habit to get into. Now, what about the dreaded problem-solving call? You need to call a company because there's an issue.
The golden rule here is to stay calm and be polite. You don't want to start with an aggressive tone.
So you don't say, "You messed up my order."
No, a much better way is, "I'm having a problem with my order," or "I received the wrong item." This states the issue without blaming the person on the other end.
It keeps the conversation focused on finding a solution, not fighting.
Right. And then you can ask for a solution. What can we do to fix this?
Good. Now, another common situation is being put on hold. What should our listeners expect?
You'll usually hear a voice say, "Please hold," or "Please wait a moment." And then you might hear some music.
And what about being transferred?
When you're transferred, be prepared to repeat your name and the reason for your call. A simple, polite summary is all you need.
It's just part of the process. Okay, let's talk about another tricky social situation, saying no.
A tough one. You don't want to be rude, so you use what we call cushioning language.
What does that sound like?
Instead of a blunt no, you can say, "I'm afraid I can't make that date," or "Unfortunately, I have another commitment."
The "I'm afraid" and "unfortunately" phrases soften the refusal. It's a very polite way to decline.
Yes, it shows respect for the other person while still being firm. So, in this segment, we covered how to schedule clearly, solve problems politely, and say no gracefully.
Great! And with that, we'll take our final short break. When we come back, we're going to dive into some more advanced topics like cultural differences and fun idioms, and then we'll show you how to end a call perfectly. Welcome back to English Podcast for Life. Before, we covered everything from greetings to scheduling. Now, let's get into some more advanced and fascinating topics.
First up, let's talk about cultural differences. Phone etiquette isn't the same everywhere.
That's a great point. In some places, it's normal to get straight to the point. In others, you're expected to have a little chat first.
So our listeners should be mindful of who they're talking to. A quick hello might be rude in one country, but normal in another.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about some fun idioms and expressions that are useful for phone calls.
Oh, I love these. You can say hold a line, which just means to wait.
And what about when you want to make a call? You can say, I'll give you a ring, or I'll give you a buzz.
Those are great. And a more advanced one, if someone is talking so much you can't get a word in, you can say, I couldn't get a word in edgewise.
That's perfect. Now, let's talk about those little sounds we make to show we're listening.
Active listening cues. They're so important. You can't see the other person, so you have to show you're still there.
Things like, I see, or oh, really? They fill the silence and show you're engaged.
And they are so much better than total silence, which makes the other person wonder if the call dropped.
It's true. It makes the conversation feel more natural. Finally, let's talk about ending the call.
We've said goodbye, but what are some other options?
You can say, thanks for calling, or I'll talk to you soon.
And I love it was great talking to you. It's a warm, polite way to end.
Now, what about the famous long talker? The person who just won't get off the phone.
You need a graceful exit. You can say, well, I'm afraid I have to run now, or I have another call coming in.
It's a nice way to get off the phone without being rude.
And it works every time. Well, Alex, I think we've covered everything.
I think so too. We've gone from the very first hello to the final goodbye.
We hope this episode has given our listeners the confidence and tools they need to tackle any phone conversation in English.
Don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Make those calls. The more you practice, the easier it gets.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us for this special episode.
From all of us here, goodbye.
See you next time.